Greetings, my name's I, Sir Burrowsif here, and today we are here with a new series called Choice of the Pirate by Alana Jolie Abbott. I played... Hang on, gotta fix my mic. I just moved it the wrong way when I was setting it up and didn't move it back. But yeah, I played the Heroes Rise series, and I really enjoyed it. So I figured, why not try another game by the developers? I think it's by the same people. Either way, it's on the same engine, so it's... you know. But this is about pirates, as you can tell by the name, and we are just gonna go ahead and get started. Chapter 1, Scurvy Knaves. A cannonball hits the water astern of your ship's hull. The resulting splash soaks your clothing. You drag your sleeve across your forehead, succeeding only in spreading the water around. Could be worse, says the unflappable Caesar Lord, your closest friend, a huge, dark-skinned pirate who towers over you and the rest of the crew. They could have better aim. Your ship's last loaded cannon fires, drowning them out for the moment, fouling the air with smoke and brimstone. Luckily, the cannon didn't explode. Unfortunately, your cannonball also missed, and now you're out of gunpowder. "You call that a hit, you landlubber?" screams your captain, the notorious and cruel Captain Blackguard. It's unfounded criticism. Even he must know that the way the ships are closing on each other, there's no clear shot for a broadside, and for that you should all be grateful. "Prepare to board, you scurvy knaves, and make your peace with Davy Jones, for you'll either send our enemies to him, or see him yourself." My pirate voice leaves much to be desired. The flag on the ship trading fire with you bears a skull and crossbones, with a rose clutched in its grinning teeth. It's the flag of Captain Adelaide Briar. Why do you recognize it? I tried to sign on to her crew. The crown despises her, and so do I. Or Captain Blackguard told us, we're after her ransom. I'm gonna be a bounty hunter, I think. That'd be kinda cool. I'm gonna be a pirate bounty hunter who goes after people for their bounty. And really, what the captain says is the guiding force in your life at this point, like it or not. The Crown, in its ongoing efforts to rid the Lucayan Sea of pirates, has put bounties, setting pirates against each other in hopes of making legitimate money, or earning their pardons in letters of marque. Blackguard and Captain Adelaide Briar have a long history. The stories told in the port of San Alfonso, the pirate haven a few miles south, say they were once lovers until Blackguard's obsession with finding the treasure of Ishmael the Lost came between them. Briar mutinied against Blackguard, stole his ship and crew, and marooned him. The stories put Blackguard as less of a victim. Other stories put Blackguard as less of a victim, claiming that he went mad with rage when he found out Briar had hidden a map from him that would have led him to the treasure, nearly killing her and half his crew before coming to his senses. When he's out of hearing, other pirates call him Blackguard the Bloody. Blackguard is nearly as obsessed with destroying Briar as he is with finding Ishmael's legendary treasure. She was an obvious choice for his first bounty target. "Wind round, north to east," Blackguard shouts, and your crew tacks as the ship's cambion, your weather mage, calls a gust of wind, bringing the ships nearly side by side. "No mercy," Blackguard screams. Wait, a weather mage? So they use magic to, move their ships faster? Dude, that's kinda cool. The ships groan in protest as their hulls collide. Caesar, who, despite the ship's tradition, has long insisted you call him by his first name, claps you on the back. "See you on the other side," he says, and it's both a promise and a command. Jeez, I'm having a hard time reading today. "Wouldn't miss it," you say lightly. Caesar grins as he takes a leap across onto the enemy ship, not bothering with the grappling hooks your mates are using to draw their ships together. Pirates of Briar's crew swing over from their rigging, and it won't be long before both ships have erupted into combat. And there you are, standing at the rail. How did you get into this mess? Mess? This is what I live for! Piracy! A life of freedom and plunder. I took a job with Blackguard to avoid being arrested by the Crown. I hired on with Blackguard to avoid being conscripted into the Navy. I was captured by pirates as a youth and haven't found a way to free myself. Or Blackguard gave me the option to sign on to his crew or walk the plank. Mess, this is what I live for! Dude, I want to be a pirate. That'd be awesome. It's a pirate's life for you. The thrill of battle, the excitement of the chase, the grog, the romance. Everything about life at sea, out from under the tyranny of the Crown's strict rule, appeals to you. Everything that is except Captain Blackguard. As tyrants go, he's not much better than the Crown. If you had enough gold to buy your own ship and to get out of your contract with Blackguard, you know you'd be a much better captain than he is. And really, gold and freedom are all it takes to be a pirate captain, which is why there's such a low bar for entry. What is it that you despise most about Blackguard? His cruelty to my shipmates, his stingy sharing of our plunder, or he's just not a very skilled pirate? I'd say cruelty. What I want to do in this game, because here, let me show you this. It's got stats, and some of the stats are ruthless, honorable, greed, goodwill, privateer, and pirate. I'm gonna go to be an honorable pirate who has a goodwill. I'm gonna try and be a nice pirate. That's just Kind of hard to do, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah, so I'm gonna be upset about his cruelty to my shipmates. I wonder how that changes stats. It upsets my goodwill. Or it ups my goodwill, which is pretty good. The violence Blackguard doles out so casually to his own crew is hard to accept. He flogs sailors for the slightest offense, or for no offense at all other than being in the captain's path when he's in a rage. You've been on the wrong end of his beatings only a few times, while Caesar has taken more than his share. You've tried to convince your friend that it's not his duty to protect the other sailors, and he always assures you that this time will be the last time he stands between the captain and his sailors. Until, of course, the next time you end up dressing his wounds. The two of you have long agreed that something should be done about your cruel master, but you've both fallen short of suggesting a mutiny. It might be easier to stomach Blackguard's violent excesses if you were a good captain, or if you could get rich serving him, but he's not an inspiring leader, nor a competent sailor. Which of his traits frustrates you the most? He's a bully, but his combat lacks finesse. He's about as sneaky as a cannonball. He wouldn't know diplomacy if it bit him. He's frankly an awful sailor, or he doesn't even understand what our cambiant, our weather mage, does. I'd be upset about he's being an awful sailor. He's a bully, but his combat lacks... He's about as sneaky as a cannonball. Let's do that. He thought all pirates had at least a little guile, or the ability to plan ahead, or skill in sneaking aboard an enemy ship in the middle of the night. Sneaking is not Blackguard's strength, nor strategy, nor even the ability to improvise a solution in the midst of a crisis. You can't understand how he's managed to stay captain as long as he has. A mutiny would sneak up on him like a crown cutter on a foggy night. Maybe today will be the day that Blackguard meets his fate. But in the meantime, you've got to be sure you don't head off early into yours. Two of Briar's pirates swing onto deck next to you. You've no time to clear the rail onto Briar's ship next to Caesar. You're in the middle of battle. What do? My pitless and custle are already drawn. To battle! I use my magic to fight unconventionally. All is fair in combat, especially cheating. I use my knowledge of the ship to my advantage, or I try to talk my way out of content. I'm very disappointed in myself. I'll use my knowledge of the ship to my advantage. You're not worried when the pirates swing over, because you know right where you're standing, and you know exactly what hazards they're about to land in. There's no need for traps aboard your ship. The deck is dangerous enough with loose lines and supplies. When one of the pirates lands next to you into a coil of line, you pull the belaying pin, keeping it secured. The line snaps around the pirate's leg, hoisting him aloft. Simultaneously, a sheet of sail drops on your other opponent. He curses and struggles to free himself. You clock his covered head with the belaying pin, and he goes silent. Though your battle took only seconds, the scene around you has changed in the meantime, and the air is full of gunpowder. One of the cambions, either Briar's or your own, you're not sure, shifts the wind. Both ships tack without the sailors being ready for it. You and everyone else stagger to keep your balance. You see Blackguard engaged in a duel with one of Briar's pirates, a tall woman who's Briar's first mate, you guess, near the steering wheel, not far from you. Blackguard is hard-pressed. Maybe he really has met his match this time. Unfortunately, if he dies, Briar might turn the crew into the crown for Blackguard's bounty. If Blackguard and the mate both die, that's two problems solved. I don't care what happens to the crew as long as Blackguard is killed, or I defend my captain to the end. I'm trying to be honorable, so I guess I am... he is my captain. I gotta defend him, even if he's a douche. You are a loyal member of this crew, and even if Blackguard's a disgrace to pirates everywhere, he's still your captain. Also, you don't want to die, and there are always ways that saving the captain's life could turn to your advantage. The question becomes, just how will you intervene to save his life? Okay, like I handle most problems, with my sword. I use my magic to rot the deck beneath the mate's foot. I sneak up on Briar's mate and club her from behind. I stamp on one end of a loose plank to trip up the captain's foe, where all the captain needs is a moment's distraction. I hurl insults at Briar's first mate. I mean, strategy, let's see. Straight up fight, I don't know my guy's skill. Use my magic, I don't know my guy's skill in magic. I sneak up on Briar's mate and club her from behind. I could do that, but I feel like... there's no downside to that. I might try that one. I stamp on one end of a loose plank. That seems like a cool strategy. I'm gonna sneak up on Briar's mate and club her from behind. Let's do it. Through the haze of gunpowder and the chaos of combat, Briar's first mate doesn't even notice you stepping into place behind her. She does, however, notice the way the butt of your pistol cracks into her spine. She stumbles forward, straight into Captain Blackguard's sword. Briar's first mate falls, and Blackguard yanks his sword out of the corpse with a sucking sound that's reminiscent of scraping barnacles off a hull. Blackguard takes a moment to assess the rest of the battle before approaching you. "Good work, sailor," he says, and you can tell that despite his good cheer, he doesn't recall your name. Through the grime and salt caked on your tunic, he's not entirely sure of your gender either. And that's just how I intend it. I'm a woman, I'm a man. What is your given name? I don't like any of these. I want to make my own name, dude. Let's do... I got a Zoro on my desk. So let's name my guy... This is going to be the first name. I got to think of a first name. Let's do... My middle name's Zachariah, so I'm going to do Zachary. Or Zachariah. We'll do Zachariah Zoru. Zachariah Zoru. Boom. One day, with enough fame or infamy, you will earn a moniker, but for now you are only Zachariah Zoru, a lowly sailor your captain couldn't be bothered to remember. But the way he's looking at you now, you can tell he'll remember what you've just done. You hear the familiar sound of incantations in the old island language, my pure, as both your cambiont and the cambiont on Briar's ship chant to try to control the water and sky around you. Dueling winds never bode well for the sailors between, and this time is no different. Before either you or Captain Blackguard can leap back into the fray, a terrible scream of grinding hulls cuts across the deck as the winds push the ships into each other. A breath later and the air explodes around you, flattening everyone to the quivering deck. The winds do not stop. The ships push into each other, and the air tears at their hulls until it's clear that both ships are going to sink themselves to pieces. Abandoning ship is the only thing to do, but rather than ordering the crew to flee, Blackguard is swearing up a storm, cursing at his now unconscious cambiant to fix things. The air holding you to the deck releases, and you have time to move. But where will you go? Blackguard's cabin to save the charts. Below deck to make sure everyone gets out. That sounds like what I would probably do. The cargo hold, retrieve what treasure I can for myself. Grady! The dinghy, get me out of here. Below deck, make sure everyone gets out. Let's do it. I am an honorable pirate. I follow a code. Most of the crew were on deck for the battle, but it's possible someone's still on the berth deck, or worse, hiding in the hold. You can't in good consciousness abandon ship, while there might still be people on her. Conscience, not consciousness. I can't talk today. The deck trembles beneath your feet as you stumble down the ladder to get below decks. The berth deck isn't faring much better. You can see the leaks already springing through the hull, and the groan of the wood beneath you makes it clear she's not going to last much longer. You list through the galley like a seasick landlubber and spot the ship's cook cowering among his pots and pans. There isn't anyone else on the aft end of the berth deck, unless they're hiding in the captain's cabin behind a locked door. Get on deck, you yell at the cook, but he doesn't seem to hear you. Yell at him to get on deck and keep looking for more people, force him above, or offer comforting words and walk with him to the ladder. I mean, this is kind of an emergency. Let's yell at him to get on deck. Get on deck, you mangy sea dog! You shout at the portly old sailor, mimicking Blackguard's voice. But he still doesn't listen. He's too afraid to follow your instructions. You're about to head off to look for others, but you pause. You could save him right now, or look for other people who might not be around to save. If he can't rescue himself, I can't rescue him. Force the cook above, or coax him to come above and go with him. Force him above. This is an emergency! If you can't save his own neck, you'll pull him out yourself. He's a portly old sailor, and he's too heavy to carry, but you yank him forward. As soon as you put him in motion, he cooperates, following along blindly until you're both above. You make it aloft with almost no time to spare. There aren't enough dinghies to get everyone off of the ship, so you suppose it's lucky that so many pirate bodies litter the deck. You don't look to see how many of them are your crewmates and how many are your foes. You have enough to worry about. The last dinghy is being lowered over the side, and you dash aboard. As the dinghy splashes down in the water, the pirate lowering her jumps aboard, landing lightly on her toes and grinning all the while. Can't say we'll see the likes of that again, she says cheerfully, unfazed by either the combat or the destruction. I'll be just as glad if I never do, mutters Caesar, surprisingly solemnly from the aft seat in the dinghy. His huge arms are already muscling the oars into action, pulling away from the wrecks before they can suck you down. You take up an oar as well, and soon all of you are rowing toward the port of San Alfonso. Well, that was fun. The wrecks of the two ships finally sink below the horizon as your dinghy arrives at the port several hours later. There may have been a few times when you've been happier to have solid ground beneath your feet, but you're hard-pressed to think of one. Captain Blackguard is issuing orders to his remaining crew. At a dock much further down, you see Briar doing the same to hers. You've lived to fight another day, but it looks like there'll be no escape from your contract with Blackguard yet. His sharp eye finds you in the crowd, and he gives you a subtle nod. So even if you still have to work for him, it's possible your situation will improve. Possible. So here you are, back in the port you left earlier today. If the captain has any kindness in his soul, which you doubt, you'll be headed to the Black Dog for a drink and some music. You can always hope. Chapter 2, San Alfonso. San Alfonso. If the crown were to be believed, San Alfonso would be the cesspool into which all the villains and ruffians of the high seas drained. And while they'd be right about the company, San Alfonso is nothing like a cesspool. It's a bit more akin to the tropical paradises you hear about in the romances, or the even older tales of the beautiful island of Calypso. In atmosphere, it lacks nothing. Natural spring water runs freely, the trees provide papayas and mangoes aplenty, and the natural harbor guards against the worst weather, and the Crown's naval patrols. The port town itself is a vibrant place, where locals mingle casually with sailors from distant shores, where music cascades down the streets, and where the rum flows in abundance. But it's also a clean little town, and though the law itself is quite relaxed, there's an unspoken truce among pirates, and an understanding that those who take advantage of the hospitality of San Alfonso in a way that harms their people will find themselves barred from the island. How this should come to pass, you're not sure, but there must be a reason the leader of the port town is known as El Sabio the Wise. What part of San Alfonso do you enjoy visiting most on your trips to port? La Universidad de Cambiar, the School of Magic, La Biblioteca de Alejandro, the Library of Alexander, the Bazaar, or La Taberna del Lobo Negro, the Black Wolf Tavern. Let's do the School of Magic, because I would be interested in that. I'm gonna be right back. I need a drink of water. I forgot to grab one before I started recording, which was a mistake! Bye! I'll be back! Don't worry! I'll be here soon! Ah! I is back. And I have my water. My water is good for me. Here it is. Gonna take a drink right now. There we are. Back to the story. La Universidad de Cambiar is a ground-sounding name for a small academy that trains weather mages. Among the instructors are Marielano Relampago and the Cambiant known only as Judican, both of whom have traveled to the distant lands beyond the reach of the crown. It's hard to discern the truth out of the many stories told about the pair, but whether or not the tales are invented, the pair are experienced teachers, and you've picked up more than a few tricks in your visits to the school. But tonight, it looks like Captain Blackguard has found a soft spot in his heart, and is leading you and the rest of your bedraggled crewmates to the Lobo Negro. The Lobo Negro is exactly the kind of place the Crown would have its citizens believe represents San Alfonso entirely. A low-end, low-class establishment known for brawls, drunkenness, and crass humor. But, water is not good for breathing. I don't know. Where the rest of San Alfonso is almost eerily civilized, considering its population of scoundrels and sea dogs, the Lobo Negro is a raucous house of rum and music, dancing and debauchery. It is the first stop on nearly every sailor's list upon return to port, especially sailors who are half-drowned. But, though good-natured brawls are commonplace, pirate captains never settle their grievances in the Lobo Negro. Like in the rest of San Alfonso, the truce applies here, no matter how much one captain may hate another. So when Captain Briar and her crew show up in much the same state as you and your crewmates, moments after your own arrival, you all avoid each other entirely. No sense rubbing salts into the wounds you're all licking. Salt, not salts. Captain Blackguard settles in at a large table, and, for the moment, seems to have forgotten about you, giving you a short time to indulge your curiosity about the other patrons of the Lobo Negro. You've met friends and enemies and lovers under this roof, sometimes all three at once. After a day like today, you'd be glad of some congenial companionship. What sort of lovers do you normally seek? I prefer men, I prefer women. I prefer women. There are frequently women at the Lobo Negro that meet your taste, and you've tumbled with a few in attendance tonight. But there's one who's caught your eye a number of times that you've not yet had the chance to encounter more thoroughly. Anne Reed, a wealthy pirate captain who's not given you a second glance. She's everything the romances make a pirate to make out to be, and arrogant to boot. She boasts she'll one day be the next pirate king, and the way she holds court to the Lobo Negro, it's as if she's already assumed her title. Reed would never let her gender stop her from becoming a king, or anything else she pleased to be, and the king is a king, regardless of who holds the role. She might not be worth the trouble she'd undoubtedly come with, but there's no denying she's attractive, and she's got the strength and power to back up her bragging. You notice a newcomer among her audience, and only pause to give him a second glance because of the way he's watching her. He's pretty, for a sailor, and as strong as you'd expect, but he glances at everyone in the crowd with a calculating gaze that makes you uneasy. What is he up to? Hang on, I remember something I could do in the other game. Make text bigger. Make the text bigger. There we go. I bet you people like that, huh? Okay, there we go. There's another newcomer you notice, though for different reasons. A young Cambiant, an islander by heritage if you're not mistaken, is seated at a table by herself, which means she's made an impression on someone. No one sits alone at the Lobo Negro unless they inspire respect or fear, so the Cambiant must have done something to stake her claim. Despite the honor, she doesn't look pleased with their solitary position. You could take the risk of buying her a drink and see if her frown is perpetual, or if she'd lighten up on the promise of a bit of fun. And then a raucous burst of laughter draws your attention to another table, where John Gunn, a drunk old sea dog, is once again recounting his adventures to a group of young sailors, with such exaggeration that no bait in the world could catch the truth. Who would you like to approach? Head to the bar with Caesar, go to Anne Reed's table. I sidle up to the newcomer, watching Anne's table, I go chat with the Cambiant, or I join the sailors listening to John Gunn. It's either between Caesar and the Cambiant, I think. I have to think. Let's see. If I go with Caesar, that means I'm staying loyal to my friend, who's probably going to be around for a while. And if I go chat with the Cambiant, maybe when I get my own ship, I'll have a Cambiant friend already. I doubt Anne Reed would be a good thing to do, because, you know, she's probably going to just put me down and hate me. So, you know. Let's go chat with the Cambiant. Let's try that. The patrons around you all give you that look, like you're either brave or an idiot, as you approach the table with the sad-looking Cambiant. May I join you? You ask, and the Cambiant looks up, startled. Por supuesto, she says quickly, and one of the chairs from the table shifts towards you. You could have sworn her feet weren't close enough to move it, but she couldn't have used cambiar, not without chanting her body motions. Could she? Sorry, I didn't expect anyone to join me. A pretty thing like you? Surely you don't want for company. You must have impressed someone to end up with a solo table. Or why not? You must have impressed someone to end up with a solo table. The chair she'd nudged away from the table for you suddenly slams back into it. You're not sure how she did it. She used cambiar, you're sure, but without chanting, which makes it clear that people should be impressed. Apparently not enough for my reputation to have spread, she says with suspicion. Just what are your intentions? You hold your arms open defensively. I just wanted to chat, you say. I was curious what a Cambiant was doing sitting on her own in the Lobo Negro. It's not exactly the Universidad. She shrugs. Just looking for a ship, she says. I'm Tinema. It's not uncommon among islanders, or pirates for that matter, to have a single name. Zachariah Zoru, you offer, and while I think my captain's likely to leave our Cambiant here in port after our last battle, I can't say I recommend his ship. But before you can converse further, John Gunn launches himself up from his table, tipping half the drinks. "'Tis the sure and honest truth," he roars. "I've the map on me and I'll prove it. I'll bring the treasure back and no one will laugh at John Gunn again." Then he stumbles out of the taberna and into the night. His departure is largely greeted with laughter, but Blackguard isn't laughing. Your captain stands, beckons to you and Caesar Lord, and heads outside. You know without a doubt that he's going to go after Gunn's treasure. I excuse myself and follow. He is my captain. I excuse myself and follow. There's treasure to be had. I look to see what Caesar's gonna do, or I wait. What's Blackguard gonna do to me in the Lobo Negro? Or what is Blackguard gonna do to me? He can't do anything to me, that kind of thought. I look to see what Caesar is gonna do. Caesar sighs and puts down a drink on the bar. The way it sloshes means he's only just gotten it from the bartender. He nods to you, and the two of you meet at the door, leaving as a team. Oh boy! Then you're through the door, and Blackguard is waiting. Blackguard paces in the moonlight, the sway in his step evidence that he's more accustomed to walking shipboard than on land. "Lord," he says, acknowledging the big man, and then turns to you. "Zoru." So apparently he took the time to collect your name. "You've had me back when it matters," he said to you, "and there's no one I'd rather trust to have on this expedition than ye. Perform well and I'll make it worth your while." You consider asking if he'll let you and Caesar out of your contracts, but that might not be the best way to respond to his gratitude. Blackguard gestures at the retreating form of John Gunn, that drunk old dog with the supposed treasure map. "Gunn says he's got a map to the treasure of Captain Avery Flint. 'Tis not the legend of Ishmael the Lost, but since we find ourselves in need of coin, we can't afford to miss the opportunity. We'll be the ones to get that treasure, and if you do your part, we'll split the shares equally. Let it not be said I'm a stingy captain." You and Caesar do your very best not to look at each other, because one of the two of you would be unable to keep a straight face. Blackguard gestures at the retreating form of John Gunn, that drunk old dog with the supposed treasure map. "Gunn says he's got a map to the treasure of Captain Avery Flint. 'Tis not the legend of Ishmael the Lost, but since we find ourselves in need of coin, we can't afford to miss this opportunity. We'll be the ones to get that treasure, and if you do your part, we'll split the shares equally. Let it not be said that I'm a stingy captain." You and Caesar do your very best not to look at each other, because one of the two of you would be unable to keep a straight face. "If the legends speak true, Flint left more than enough to buy in his ship," Blackguard continues, "and I'll be damned if I stay landlocked longer than needs be." As Blackguard expounds on that idea with curses, Caesar leans down closer to you. "If you left more than enough to buy a new ship," he says quietly, "by tomorrow you could be Captain Zoru, with me as your first mate." Your own ship, your own captaincy. It's an opportunity you've been after for years. All you and Caesar need is a coin. The way out of those pesky contracts with Blackguard. The captain winds down his rant on the terror of being stranded ashore, and you and Caesar both nod dutifully in absent agreement. Blackguard turns to you.
Sir, I think it's time for you to show some initiative and leadership. You know the code words for putting a sailor to the test when you hear them.
Wait, you know the code words for Captain putting a sailor to the test when you hear them.
How shall we go about this?
Team up with Gun, intimidate Gun into joining us, steal Gun's map, follow Gun to the treasure, and then take it from him. Or I don't need Gun's map, I'll use magic to detect its location. I want to be a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. Once you're pointed in the right direction, you don't need a map. The land itself can tell you when it's been dug up, if you know the right chant and you're accomplished enough. And though you get off to a good start, once you've determined the direction Gun is taking out of San Alfonso, you can tell the moment the chant begins to fizzle. Luckily, it fails while Gun is still in sight, so you can follow him and steal the treasure. It's not your preference, but it's the only option left. Your party of treasure hunters follows behind the old man as he meanders through the port city and up into the hills above San Alfonso. It's a warm night, and the walk from San Alfonso to the wilds would be pleasant were it not for the company of Blackguard. Like on many of the islands in the Lucayan, the interior of the island is hilly and covered with rainforest. The islanders may have ways to navigate the forest, but they're a mystery to most sailors, and even the islanders build their villages along the shores rather than in the thick forests. Though the ground is clear of low growth and other ferns, the canopy above blocks out the moonlight, making the night even darker. You've heard this rainforest is haunted. Those stories are mostly told by drunk old dogs like Gun, but with the sound of movement just above you and the occasional flurry of bats just overhead, you can understand why people are suspicious of these trees. Gun stays ahead of you, and though he looks back frequently, and you're sure you're not all that stealthy, Blackguard is as awkward in the forest as a landlubber on his first voyage. He seems not to notice you. So you follow him upward through the mahoganies and kapok trees, listening to the howlers and vervet monkeys argue in the trees. You once hear the scream of a cat or coati, and though you know that no large predators live on the island, you find yourself keeping an extra sharp watch around you, which helps you to spot Gun running around a pair of boulders, darting out of sight. You hide behind the boulders and watch as Gun begins to dig. As you hear Blackguard breathing next to you, you realize this is a moment of opportunity. You're far enough out of San Alfonso that the tacit rules don't apply, and if some accident were to happen to Blackguard, no one would be the wiser. Draw my pistol as if to shoot Gun, then shoot Blackguard instead. Try to blind Blackguard off to get out of my contract. Insist that Blackguard intimidate Gun out of the treasure, then shoot Blackguard while he's distracted. Forget subterfuge. I shoot Blackguard outright and worry about the treasure after. I follow Blackguard's orders, or knock Blackguard out and take a share. I'm honorable. And Burpee, follow his orders. He's still your captain, no matter how unhappy with him you are. But as bad a pirate as you think he is, he's picked up on your ambitions. Oh boy. What ambitions?
I've heard you say you aimed on your own ship,
he says conversationally. Blackguard puts a hand on your shoulder.
I owe you for saving me life in that combat, he says. I release you from your contract and send you off with me blessing.
So you'll keep your share of the treasure after all. And me? Caesar rumbles.
You want to go with him?
Blackguard scratches his chin.
I could part with your service for 100 doubloons.
Caesar makes a show of considering, but you know he'll take the deal. So it's settled. Or is it? Aye, I'm free of Blackguard, so I got what I wanted. Aye, and I'm glad to have Blackguard on good terms. No, now that it's just murder and not mutiny, I shoot him point blank. Why would you do that? Ugh. Aye, and I'm glad to have Blackguard on good terms. He'll be an asset later, probably. He may be an awful pirate, but he's a well-known one. He could be a useful ally in the future. Now all that remains is deciding how to deal with Gun. I shoot Gun and steal the treasure? No! I threaten Gun to split the treasure with us equally. Or I offer to help Gun haul the treasure back. I threaten Gun to split the treasure with us equally. Ugh. God, I don't want to be evil, but at the same time, I offer to help Gun haul the treasure back. I'm not a thief. I'm a pirate. Living my life all high on the seven seas. I'm gonna offer to help him. Gun doesn't know you're there, and so your appearance takes him by surprise. But you're quick to calm his nerves, showing both your hands. Mr. Gun, you say, I see you're in a bit of a predicament. You'll never manage to haul that treasure out of the pit yourself, and so the patrons of the Logo Negro will still never believe that you found it. Allow us to help you bring it back and prove that you're an honest man. Gun eyes you and your companions for a moment, then shrugs.
Alright, fine. I need the help, and I'll offer you a small percentage for your services.
We're just glad to assist, you say with a grin. It doesn't take long to haul up the treasure chest from the hole Gun dug. The chest has a satisfying heft to it, and you're well pleased with the evening's work. Once you've hauled up the treasure, you look inside. There's nearly 2,000 doubloons here, a small fortune for a single night's work. Of course, Gunn makes out the best. A full 1,000 to add to his coffers should set up the old dog for a goodly long time. Too bad he'll probably gamble or drink it all away at the Lobo Negro. The rest of you don't make out too badly, of course. You're all cheerful as you make your way back to San Alfonso, especially when Gunn promises to buy you all around at the Lobo Negro. But for tonight, you're for bed. Forget about companionship. You've no energy to dally. Tomorrow you'll have to see about a ship. Chapter 3, The Ship's the Thing. Well, I think 3 chapters is good enough for this episode. That is fun. I do like this game so far. The magic element, it's interesting, to say the least. I haven't seen something use magic like that with pirates before, so it's a good concept. I like it. I really enjoy these types of games. They're really fun. But, you know, they're not everyone's cup of tea. There's no graphics, no music. All the music you're hearing right now, I added that in myself. So, you know, I don't even need to be wearing these headphones. I am, you know, for posterity. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of this series, go ahead and hit that like button and comment down below. Because if you let me know you want to see something, I'll get it to you faster. That's just how the world works. Hopefully Zachariah Zoru will have a good life as a captain of a ship, as a pirate, living his life all high on the 7 seas. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't have anything else to say. Just forget it. Till next we meet. Farewell. I used the wrong hand.